Can you tell us a little bit about the inspection process? I want to illustrate it for Dahlia, just kind of give her an idea of what to expect once you guys get going and looking for a property, you find something that's of interest.
Well, it all depends. When you buy investment property or property in general, if you're buying, if you buy, say, private owner or general, but usually what I usually do, if a house has a basement, I always go to the basement first. Because to me, the basement always set the tone of the property. When you go in the basement, the people who definitely keeps a tidy basement, you can just best believe the rest of the house is kept well. Plus you can look at and just some of the structural things around there. You definitely, you may not be a contractor or nothing, but there are a lot of telltales in the basement. So every time I go to the property, whether I'm going to put it on the market or I'm going to buy, I'm heading to that basement. I want to look at I kind of want to just visually see the basement walls, see if I see any leaks there. Then I can work my way up from there. Again, number one, we always, we want to, my main things on a property would be the roof, the heating. Okay. If the roof and the heating is pretty good, I'm feeling better. Then I'm looking for any kind of warping in the house. But just visually look at that. I always recommend when you new in buying investment or personal property that you have a home inspector or somebody that you have confidence in that's going to share information with you. And it's not always a friend who bought properties, because sometimes a friend has felt obligated to find something wrong. They up there, well, I'm going to find something wrong to save this person money. Well, it's not about finding things wrong or saving money. It's about, what should you expect in a property that age and for that price. But again, your biggest thing, like I say, is that roof, is that heating, and in the areas where it's a basement, just the condition of that basement.
Now, as far as do you have any questions for Jerome on that before I move to anything else?
Yeah, because I also thought, and I firmly believe, because when I purchased my first home, I went down in the basement and not only looking for the tidiness, but everything is in the basement. So I was looking, I could see what type of flooring by looking up and see all the wood was placed. I would know what type of flooring I had under the carpet because I couldn't see. But look at the piping, the electrical and stuff like that. Now, with that said, in purchasing even the multifamily or the residential, like the question prior, like what it is that I'm looking for, I want to know the due diligence process, the timing that I will have in person. In your expertise, Jerome, what will be that timing for me to get, through that process?
Well, I would shoot for 10 to 14 days as a buyer. Okay, you can get your due diligence done sooner than that. Okay, but if you have any questions, you want the time to do your investigation before you're obligated to pursue with that deal. So I would actually 10 to 14 days for the due diligence, the inspections, the termite inspection in its general. But while the 10 to 14 days, that's where you, again, if possible, talk to the neighbors. That's when you get an inspector. And like I say, that inspector is real important because, again, and that's what I'm saying, it's not necessarily a friend that knows something about the property. You want somebody you want somebody to say, hey, you got a hot water tank here and it's 5 years old. It's, usually it's warranty for 7, but usually they'll last 10. Because a friend will come there and say, oh, the warranty's out, you're gonna need a new tank. And we know sometimes tanks last 20 years. So you got to get somebody who's really understand property and understand that even though the warranty says is over in 7 years, usually they'll last 20. So and that's when you go into building relationships with inspectors, building relationships with mortgage companies and stuff like that. And basically, those things like that, when you talk, even prior to finding a property, those people you want to talk to. Hey, I'm I'm new in buying investments. I'm looking for partners with me to buy investment properties. Are you willing to be my investment? I want to be able to come to you, and when you inspect the house, I want to be totally confident in your opinion. Same thing with the mortgage person. Hey, when I call you, I want you to let me know, am I ready today to get this property? If my credit's not right, or if I need more of this, more of that, I need for you to tell me that prior to that. Because when I commit to purchasing a property, I got to know I have everything. Because what I tell people is, when you know what you got, you can do different things. You make the difference of saying closing in 30 days, in 10 days. Somebody had a property listed for 30,000. You say, listen, I won't give you 30, but I'll give you 25,000 for the property, and I'll close it in 14 days. And now you got your team together. And what you're telling them is, you're going to be my go-to person. When I want to buy a property, I'm coming to you. House inspector, I want to be able to send you to the house and have the confidence that you got my best interest in mind. So sometimes when you talk about doing that, you're building a team, and then you go farther than that. When you talked about fixing up the property yourself. I had a team where I had the same electrician, I had the same flooring, and I had the same painters, etc. They knew what I expected. We pretty much had an idea on cost. So it wasn't a thing where we're going backwards and forwards on cost. They know, hey, this is guaranteed money. Boom. And again, when you're new in the business, getting new is a little harder, because you may not know all the what's the going rate. So it's a little different as you learn. So that takes you a little bit to get there, but it won't take you long to get there, because you'll basically know all the materials they'll need, et cetera, in general, and you'll know when they're kind of going offline a little bit.
Okay. I just want to let us know that we got about 5 more minutes, and before we hang up or whatever, I wanted to ask, you had mentioned earlier about the market being hot and everything like that. I just wanted to speak just briefly on when it comes to making your offer and doing that stuff. You got your due diligence. You've been running around. You found a place that you like. Because there's more activity, what would you suggest as far as like the urgency and like when it comes time to what should someone be ready to do if they're out there and they're serious and they want to make sure that they don't miss a property?
Well, again, we'll go back to the due diligence of researching location, property. What I always tell people, and I tell them that when I show properties, I tell people this before we ever find a house. You need to know what you're looking for and how much you're willing to pay. Now, everybody wants to buy a property at a deal or a discount. But the thing you got to realize is sometimes you never get a second chance to make a second offer. You make an offer, let's go back to the $30,000 property, and you're offering $25,000, but you really would have went 30. Okay. With a market like we got today, you may want to go 30. And people will tell you you're crazy. You've been in real estate all those years. Why would you tell somebody like that? Because sometimes you never get a second chance to make an offer on a property. So when you go, when you go to buy, be serious about it. Now, this is the thing. In real estate, it's 2 different properties you're going to buy, in my opinion. It's one personally that you want for yourself. That means you got that emotional tie to that property. So again, in that case, you always will go, sometimes may go maximum, because again, when you talk about a few $1,000s different, doesn't mean that if you can picture yourself living in that property. Now, in investment properties, now you can go each way because the emotional tie is not there. But keep in mind, you're going to win some and lose some.
Good analogy. Dalia, do you have any questions for us before we wrap up?
Well, my last question would be, since Jerome been in this business for this long and has so much experience, thank you so much for sharing with us. I would like to know, once the property is purchased, let's say for instance, the multi-family property, is there any other thing that I will need to do right? When I say do, I'm talking about the legal part. Like I'm not from Young, I'm not savvy in purchasing, and this would be my first um multi-family that I buy. Is there anything that I have to do legally? Like for instance, um, I really don't know what it is to do once you get this multi-family. Other than renting it, I'm talking about the legal part. Is there any other steps to take? It's not like a residential. Is there something else that as a property owner would have to do?